Blog Talk Radio.
Here we go with the main event of the evening. Ladies and gentlemen in attendance, moms and dads joining us around the world. It's time for the bout you've all been waiting for. Finally, it is showtime.
Here, man, we dedicate our life to this sport. We do thousands of sit-ups in camp. We run hundreds of miles, for the ones that take it serious. And we just dedicate ourselves fully to our craft, man. We watch tape. We have attitude. We're rooting, and we go into that fight to land on the line.
Hey, what up, boxing fans? This is the Rope-A-Dope Radio Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Carlson. We are live late night, and I'm talking late night. It's a special West Coast / UK edition of the Rope-A-Dope Radio Podcast. I'm actually moving right now, and you know how that can happen. You got, once again, life got in the way, so I had to kind of maneuver my way, so to speak, and just kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? So I'm doing a late show, but you got to love it, right? You still got to love it. And obviously, what else is there to talk about than last weekend's fight between Gennady Golovkin and Sergey Lipinets? No, not Sergey Lipinets. Just kidding. No, Derevyanchenko. This fight definitely superseded most, expectations. I really don't know how many expectations were out there besides it being, maybe a competitive, entertaining style matchup potentially. But like I said, it shot way over that. Really, really fun fight to watch. I'm not calling it the fight of the year, to be honest with you, not necessarily, but it was a really good fight. Definitely up there as a top-tier fight. And like I said, the surprise, and how close and competitive it was really makes it stand out even more. So obviously we're going to go round by round and recap that Golovkin-Derevyanchenko fight. Who did you have winning the fight? Was it a 6-6? Giving Golovkin the win by a point because of the early knockdown? Was it 7-5? Was it 6-5-1? I know that's sacrilegious to score a tie round. People freak out nowadays, but there's a wide variety of opinion. And then we hear, of course, in a good competitive fight, that nobody won 9-3. We got the robbery thing, that's out there in abundance, right? A lot of times we see the benefit of the doubt at times on the scorecards at home, not the ringside judges' scorecards, but on Twitter and with podcasts, YouTube, whatever. We see rounds going to the guy we didn't think was going to win. And so you think, man, so sometimes that happens. I'm not saying that Derevyanchenko didn't win this fight. I'm not saying that. I'll get into it. Let's put it that way. There is a variety of news. Obviously, we can't really talk about the Claressa Shields fight in the ring, but obviously the weigh-in and a member of Claressa Shields, I believe family, but at least team member. I think it was her brother, wasn't it? But anyway, I don't know that for a fact. It does look like, police have identified the suspect, but obviously all hell broke loose at a weigh-in in Flint, Michigan. We'll brief upon that. As far as some topics we're going to discuss, more fighters falling. I actually have, oh no, I don't. Okay, it looked like two L's. VADA testing in recent days. Terrence Crawford sending a message via TMZ. Tyson Fury probably making more headlines as far as mainstream in the last couple of days, you know, based off what he did rather than, you know, actually, oops, actually boxing and fighting, right? The things that he did lately may be considered a joke to some people, but it actually is good cross promotion. Speaking of promotion, Dana White was talking about a variety of things as far as who he feels like he's going to work with, some of the things, some of the items he's going to try to do in boxing. Of course, he brought up, Oscar De La Hoya and Bob Arum and Al Heyman, a variety of stuff. Speaking of Oscar De La Hoya, he's been sued by a former employee. We'll give you a little bit of the scoop there. And a hometown fighter getting a hometown defense. So that's always cool too. So we'll give you some news and notes from that. But like I said, we'll definitely start with this recap on this Golovkin fight. The first and foremost, if this is your first time listening to the Rope It Over Radio podcast, it streams live right here on blogtalkradio.com/Rope It Over Radio. Even though it doesn't feel like lately it's been streaming live, Blog Talk's had some issues. I do have a backup plan now in place, 2 of them, if that does occur, and I can just upload the show. But anyway, you can find it on blogtalkradio.com/Rope It Over Radio. Like I said, it streams live mostly in archives. It's the headquarters. But you can also go to iTunes, a.k.a. Apple Podcast, Player FM, Stitcher, Spreaker, TuneIn, all sorts of places. We're also part of the Grueling Truth Sports Podcast Network that can be found everywhere, including iHeartRadio. In fact, using your Siri or Alexa through TuneIn or Spotify, you can find the Rope It Over Radio podcast, okay? Why don't you head on over, by the way, to thegruelingtruth.net. It's boxing, it's football, it's baseball, it's basketball, it's everything in between. That's thegruelingtruth.net. They got a great sponsor over there, betnow.eu. That's betnow.eu. They have a promo code TGT. That's promo code TGT. Gives you a discount there on your account, your first, I was going to say withdrawal. Hopefully you're going to withdraw, but your first deposit. So TGT as in thegruelingtruth.net. One more thing before we get into all the controversy. If you're thinking about cutting the cord, or maybe you already have, you should try to take a gander at AT&T TV Now. Okay, they have the 7-day free trial, no annual contracts. The plans start as low as $50 a month. That's HBO included. They have the cloud DVR. You can stream it anywhere. AT&T Now. I'm sorry, AT&T TV Now. Okay. A streaming cable service with all this boxing on ESPN and FS1, with all these other sports going on now, right? Obviously, baseball's starting to really hit the climax of the season, and football's in full swing, so you basically need a little bit of, cable, right? Basic cable, that is. Anyway, all right. So now tonight we're going to talk about Jesus. No, I'm just kidding. If we were going to talk about Jesus, it'd be a Jesus, and it would be a Mexican fighter. Damn it, that's who we'd be talking about. It's still the year of the Mexican fighter. Don't you forget it. I'll tell you what, man. This freaking fight was a good ass fight. Like I said, I'm not ripping it, not calling it fight of the year. I just personally don't think it was necessarily fight of the year, but it was damn good. Really, really good, amongst the better fights of the year. It was really good. Now we're starting to hear some stuff out of camp, and we know I'm talking about Golovkin's camp. Okay, and when people underperform, sometimes just straight up lose, just don't look themselves, which I think is fitting here. You know what I mean? And I'm not taking any credit away from Derevyanchenko. I wouldn't do that. Just talking, okay? Well, for instance, we've heard of a hand issue Now, whether it was the right or left, I mean, the jab wasn't as effective, which is his jab left hand, Golovkin. So anyway, Henry Ramirez, who, a trainer for a while, Areola was his biggest name or whatever. He said one of my guys was in camp with Triple G, and he barely sparred the last 2.5 weeks. I know there was an issue with his hand. Now, that's just one source. We've been hearing a variety of things, though, and now we also hear that he was sick, badly sick or whatever. And when you see him come out and, to the ring and whatnot, you can if you've seen, there are certain boxers that you've just seen so many times, their ring walk, their demeanor, yada, 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 within the fight, before the fight, after the fight, whatever. You just know them after a while, and you get used to seeing what they deliver. And, of course, you can't deliver a highlight reel knockout every day especially not every day, but every fight. But you can also not look yourself. Now, a lot of people are already, before I get into any of this scorecard stuff, a lot of people are already saying, see, this is more evidence that he's over the hill. He's past it. And when I hear more evidence, I think that's hogwash. Now, this may be the fight where the evidence shows that he's faded. Sure, but when you say there's just more proof, I think a lot of people, those people that say that, in my opinion, just overrated Golovkin. They're either, straight up fanboys, which I'm not accusing everyone of being, but, he's a popular fighter, so he's going to have a large percentage of fanboys. And now no matter what he does, they can think that Golovkin won the second fight against Canelo and still say he's not his age. Even though late in that fight he showed a lot. I had him lose in the second fight. I had him win him the first fight. But, I've said this many a times, competition, no matter how Golovkin wasn't getting fights, whatever the reasons were, we know there were reasons, especially at 160. Now, could he have went up to 168? Sure he could have, but he didn't. And people wanted to wait until they could make the right paper, to fight him. That's just the bottom line. However, it doesn't matter why he didn't fight the top tier guys, right? And let's be honest, middleweight wasn't deep until a couple years ago anyway. But he just, the competition, you can't just all of a sudden, nope, he's old. Why? Because you said he's Marvin Hagler? You said he's the best middleweight of all time? So now he's old now? It doesn't line up. And I understand that all those training camps professionally and in the amateurs takes a toll. But some of the biggest toll on your body as far as your fighting spirit, not little nicks and bruises and soreness and joint issues and all sorts of shit when you get older as an athlete. I mean, as a person, but, athlete years, so to speak, like a cat year, right? So, or cat years, how it's multiplied. So my point is, the guy showed he was quote-unquote human to some people when he fought Danny Jacobs, right? Then they blame the reason why he didn't look as good, even though he scored a knockdown and plenty of people had him winning the fight. Some people had it near a draw. Some people had Danny winning it, whatever. But, what they go right to? They went right to Jacobs, missing that IBF weigh-in. By the way, didn't they say Golovkin missed the 10-pound weigh-in IBF? I haven't heard much of that online by those same people that were talking about Jacobs walking around as a heavyweight or whatever they used to say. But they made excuses, is my point. The Kell Brook fight, even the one fight before that, he took a lot of punishment. He kind of got lifted, in a sense, off the canvas by a punch from Brook. Now, the excuse was he was just trying to dominate him. And I actually agree. I think he got hit a lot more in that fight because of that. But my point is, you can't say he performed awesome in the Canelo fight, especially the second one too, and then say, but he's over the hill now. His skills are deteriorating. No, he's just fighting competition too, or at least you got to put that in the equation. He is fighting much better competition, and we've seen when you go to Golovkin's body, Danny Jacobs kind of figured that out later in the fight, that he'll sit there and make that silent agreement that Teddy Atlas talks about with you. He'll give you that nod like, nice shot, man. Just please, let's get, this round over. Now, I'm not saying he goes Kovalev on the set and turns his back and freaks out and all that. He's got a great chin still, obviously, Golovkin does. But maybe he's just not as good as you thought he was. But you can't be wrong, right? Is that what it is? You just can't be wrong. Like, my thing is, don't take away so much from Derevyanchenko's victory, or he didn't win, but, if people thought he won. Don't take so much away from it by saying, oh, he's over the hill. Now, if you want to say the right hand or the left hand, the jab hand was hurt, okay, that could be a reason. It really could be. Maybe he did have a horrible flu the week of. Maybe he did. He definitely didn't look himself. That's what we do know. Now it's just a matter of if he looks this way again. And then style matchup, where does he go? Does he really want to go to Andre? Does he really want a rematch with Derevyanchenko? There's plenty of bad things, especially in the last maybe year and a half, to say about Eddie Hearn at times, and promoters in general. But that shit, there's plenty of stuff I love about him. And when they all said who won, when DeBella and people were saying, because both fighters went to the hospital, so the post presser was the manager, a promoter, or two promoters, a manager and two promoters. That's who was talking. And DeBella, or I think it was Lou DeBella, he was saying, who wants to see this rematch? Everybody wants. Who wants to see it? And Eddie Hearn didn't raise his hand, or no, they said, who doesn't want to see it? We don't even need to tell you guys this because we know you want to see it. So who doesn't want to see it? And the only guy that spoke up was Eddie Hearn. He's like, yeah, me, dude. I don't want to see that because obviously he's tied with Golovkin and he wants to move on. And DAZN surely doesn't want a Derevyanchenko fight either because they just got done paying 20-some-odd million for it. And don't get me wrong, the rematch could create a little bit of traction, but subscriber-wise, I'm speaking of sign-ups and whatnot, but it wouldn't be something over the top. You know what I mean? But they obviously want him to fight Canelo DAZN, and they got 100 million reasons why, and 5 more fights on that contract. I'm sorry, 4 more because they started with 6. He's already had 2. That's right. So there's 4 more. But anyway, I just kind of had to get that out. I've heard a lot of different Twitter talk and podcast talk and all that good stuff. But I say it throughout the year plenty of times. There's reasons and there's excuses. I mean, that's life, right? There are some legitimate reasons why things happen or why things are, and then there's excuses too, right? And when, sometimes the pride, the embarrassment of losing or not looking good, whatever, a combination of stuff. We've seen trainer, obviously promoter, manager, but trainer and fighter make up excuses. Sometimes they're reasons, sometimes they're excuses. You don't always get to see it play out. Case in point, Mayweather against Castillo. A lot of people thought he lost. Some people thought it was a draw. Some people thought Mayweather snuck it out, but the vast majority of people either think he lost or at minimum it was a draw. Now, Mayweather kind of got off to a decent start, won some rounds early, and then tried to sit on his lead. And clearly, he didn't look himself. He did look hurt. Now, he rematched Castillo, looked much better in the rematch. And you could say, okay, at the end of the day, sure, if you want to say Castillo beat Mayweather, cool. But when he wasn't hurt, he beat him. And it wasn't like he got hurt from a punch and he was cut or he broke his nose or he broke his jaw or he got knocked out or, like I said, he was just hurt in general. That's a little different. Injury, hurt, in the fight, prior to the fight, whatever. My point is, I can believe some things about Golovkin being hurt, especially the hand, because of certain things I didn't see. Now, his fighter spirit might be dwindling. The body work. I'm not saying now he did go to the body more this fight. We basically know why he didn't go in the Canelo fights, because Canelo would just counter him. He had faster hands, but we're still not seeing. We didn't see, I should say, certain things out of Golovkin. But anyway, obviously, 10-8 round, first round, he did come out with a jab, landed, I believe, the left uppercut into the right. And the right was kind of like on the top of the head, kind of cuffing on the back of the head, / whatever. Excuse me, whatever. It was right around the minute mark. Left in the round, knocked him down. Now, the second round was close, and there was plenty of swing rounds. And I've identified 2 swing rounds that I really needed to see again, and probably again type thing. You know what I mean? So there was more than 2 swing rounds, but as far as my scorecard, I have question marks on 2 rounds. And I gave Golovkin the second. That's where Derevyanchenko got a cut on his eyelid. It's a pretty bad one. It's from a headbutt, accidental headbutt. And you could see there was some busy work out of Derevyanchenko. You could see him land to the body. That's something that grew and grew as far as output, and was really key to the game plan. But to me, the left hooks, I think from Golovkin, I just think he closed the round better too. I gave him. So he was up 3 points. He was up 2 rounds, and then the deduction, penalty, or not penalty, but the knockdown. Bear with me, guys. It's pretty fucking late, okay? So I may be kind of all over the place tonight. But the third round is a close-ass round. It really is. Maybe Golovkin, once again, closed, had a better second half. But the attack early, especially, like I said, back to the body, more body work from Derevyanchenko, that may have gotten them that round, okay? But I'm putting that on hold for now. But I thought that Derevyanchenko picked up the 4th, 5th, and then the 6th. He started pumping his jab. He started bringing pressure to Golovkin, backing him up, getting him on the inside, landing that body, left hooks to the body. Good competitive round, but I gave the 4th to him. 5th, he was just busier. He landed some really good body shots late that actually seemed to bother Golovkin late in the 5th round. So that's a clear Derevyanchenko round. I thought the 6th round was close. It's a close round, just like I thought the second was close. But I gave it to Derevyanchenko. Golovkin landed some late combos, did get off. But the right hands, he finally started adding that right hand to his repertoire rather than just the jab. Once in a while, left hook, most of them to the body, though. Some crosses and all that, but the left hook really, or the right hand, excuse me, the jab right hand really started to come out more and more as the fight went on, and I gave him that round 6 round based off that. Now, I did think Golovkin won the 7th. Really fun stuff, especially late there. I just thought the bigger shots were Golovkin in that round. 8th round, question mark. It's one of those rounds you have to go back and watch, and I haven't been able to go back and watch because life is getting in the way, right? I'm actually moving, so it's obviously a process, right? So I haven't been able to watch it again, but that's another round where I'm like, you had to the hooks, the hooks to the body. Some really nice flush shots by Derevyanchenko, but second half, the jabs and overall, Golovkin just picked it up a step. But was it enough to win the 8th round? I don't really know. So I have the 3rd and the 8th round. That right now it's kind of like, I'm not sure, dude. I'm gonna watch that whole fight again. But then I thought Derevyanchenko won 3 out of the last 4. I had him winning the 9th, the 10th, and the 12th. Now, those are close rounds. You know, you had Golovkin returning fire. You still had him jabbing, but to me, the more active and just the constant with that pressure, the bigger shots, I gave the 9th and 10th to Derevyanchenko. And he was really landing heavy. Now, Golovkin, same with I'm writing down basically the same thing for these rounds. Late shots, heavy shots late in the 10th round, whatever, but then you had the activity with heavy shots early and late. It was just more consistent from Derevyanchenko. But I did give him the 11th, Golovkin. There was some early pressure, but I thought Golovkin controlled most of that 11th round. And the 12th round, dude, to me, I saw people say, oh, he won that 12th round. I don't know, dude. I really don't know because he looked faded to me. I mean, he was holding pretty heavy at times. And to me, speaking of heavy, I thought, Derevyanchenko landed the heavier shot. So here's how I scored it. Obviously, the judges had it, 2 of them had it 115, 112. One of them had it 114, 113. So obviously that's 6-6 and 7-5, right? That's what those scorecards are. Now, I can't see 7 rounds for Golovkin. I'll just be honest with you. The punch stats, Golovkin landed 243 to 230. I thought the better shots, though, probably were Derevyanchenko. They both were active, 720 and 738. Golovkin landed at a better clip, 34%. But Derevyanchenko was 31% overall. So if they're both over 30, they're both landing a bunch of fucking punches. And that's accurate. When you're both over 30%, that's a very accurate fight. Or no defense, however you want to look at it, right? And we're not talking power shots. We're talking overall shots. But, I had it 7-5 for Derevyanchenko or 6-6. And obviously a 6-6 because the score is 114-114, and you have to minus the knockdown, making it 114-113. One of the judges had it that way. I'm okay with the 6-6. I can live with it. I'm not, it doesn't sit that well with me, but I can live with it. 7 rounds to 5 for Golovkin. Personally, I don't see it 8 rounds for Golovkin. I think it's crazy. I just don't see that. 9 rounds for Golovkin, what are you watching? 9 rounds for either guy, I beg to differ. Even 8 rounds for either guy's a little too much. So here's how I broke it down. Remember, I had the 3rd and the 8th round. Let's take those 2 rounds out for now. So you got 10 rounds. I had it 6-4, pretty damn solid. I feel good about the 6-4 Derevyanchenko. So I have 6 rounds for Derevyanchenko already with 2 rounds left. Now in a swing rounds where I go, I'm not sure. Let me watch that round again, right? If you have 2 of them, I generally just split them. All right, Golovkin has one, Derevyanchenko has one. That's how I came up with 7-5, right? But you could also give them both to Derevyanchenko. Now, you'd have to give them both to Golovkin for him to win, making it 6-6 with the knockdown, right? And that's why I say I'm okay with the 6-6. I get it. But, yeah, I don't see 8 rounds to 4 for either guy, but especially Golovkin. I don't see that. He looked faded. He looked tired. He looked like Father Time is starting to catch up. When people say, oh, this is more evidence, like I said earlier, yep, this is what I was talking about. Were you talking about that in the closing rounds of the Canelo, the rematch? Because if you were, how did he close so well in that fight if he's over the hill? How did he do that? No, I had him losing the fight. I had him winning the first fight, though. So if he's over the hill and his skills are compromised and he's just faded, how's he winning these fights then? How's he performing? Great. You know what I mean? I just don't – like I said, that goes to the people that overrated him. Just admit you were wrong. It's okay. It's no big deal. Life's about failing, you know. So some people just can't admit they're wrong. You know what I mean? And that shit drove me crazy talking about Marvin Hagler. You know, people love to rip on the alphabet soup, right? The WBC, the WBO, the IBF, all the belts out there, the sanctioning bodies, right? The belts. And for good reason. They do plenty of shitty things. But don't let these trinkets come together and get undisputed like they did with even Terrence Crawford and Indongo. You know, like I mentioned that before, screwing Lipnitz out of his IBF Mando just because it sounds so good to get all those belts together. Well, you know, and I know Lipnitz is better than fucking Indongo, but it sounds so much better. And the reason why I bring up that, just to give you an example of this, all those title defenses, were they legitimate, straight-up title defenses? You can't have it both ways. You can't sit there and say, oh, I'll give you a detail on this sanctioning belt and why that's bullshit, but then let some bullshit slide by because you love watching Golovkin knock people out. You see what I'm saying? I do love watching, or should I say, I did like watching Golovkin knock people out, and not Stevie Rolls. Although, actually, that was kind of a fun one because he got hit before it, so it was kind of action-packed, I guess. But my point is, it was a good fight. Maybe this is proof that he is over the hill. I'll give you that. There is potential that because it did look like that in spots. But it could, you know, the injury to the hand, which was, did it happen in camp or did it happen in the fight? Those are two different things too, like I mentioned. And if he has a swollen hand or knuckles or whatever, okay, but did he hurt it on the top of someone's head? Did he hurt it on that knockdown in the first round? Is that what he did? Well, then that's different because that happened in the fight. If it happened in camp, you came in with a bad hand, well, then that does limit you. If you fought him with two hands for even 8 rounds instead of no rounds, it would be better for you, especially if it is a left hand and it happens to be Golovkin's jab hand. We all know what a weapon that is. So, I don't know. We're going to have to find out. I don't think we'll get a rematch. But then is Canelo going to fight his ass next? In May? I question that. But anyway, yeah, I had Derevyanchenko winning 7-5 or 6-6 with Golovkin just sneaking it by. The undercard was hot garbage, obviously. I'm not going to really talk about that much. Even mentioning Jaron Ennis, you know, it's not like he went against, you know, he's just trying to get tuned up and trying to get a fight. Ennis has been trying to get people in the ring in the top 15, and right now they're not answering the phone. So, you know, it is what it is. He got to win easy. Franklin got to win the heavyweight. Baranchyk got a comeback win. You know, he's off one of his first loss, so he got a nice little win. Whatever. But really, Clarissa Shields, you know, that fight never happened because at the weigh-in there was a whole lot of drama. Now, as far as where's the blame, you know, Clarissa Shields, is she 100% responsible for her team? A lot of people say at the end of the day, yeah, you are responsible for your team. And I understand that sentiment. But in the same breath, you know, I don't think you can hold her 100% responsible because, well, obviously she didn't do it, but, you know, there's more layers to it. Like, you can't just blame her 100% because she didn't go fucking steal on somebody. You know what I mean? So, like, and then, you know, the guy who did it, anybody that walks up and steals on somebody and leaves and causes that much damage, yeah, that's fucked up. That is cowardly. No doubt about it. There's no excuse for it, right? Period. However, and people hate this part. However, um, like the dude who got hit is an older guy, no doubt about it. He knows a thing or two about fighting, though. He's a trainer. He knows how to throw correct punches, right? If we're being honest. And if you talk shit, if you put out bad mojo, if you put out negativity, you better be ready to get some of it back, though, too. You can't deny that. It's cowardly to come steal on somebody, especially when it causes this much damage. If old boy just would have got hit and it just would have been like, oh, shit, and then nothing would have happened. He wouldn't have broke his jaw, nothing like that, or whatever he did. You know what I mean? Like, if that wouldn't have happened, it wouldn't have been looked at as just, oh my God, this is the most horrible thing. Because we see people try to throw punches and slap and push and all that at the weigh-ins. You talk smack at the weigh-ins. But there is professionalism, though, too. And he definitely was not showing professionalism, obviously. And this won't be the first or the last time someone got rowdy at a weigh-in and talk shit, right? But obviously it doesn't usually end in one of the trainers, getting seriously hurt. So I feel bad for the guy to an extent. I think, like I said, it's cowardly. I hope the dude gets charged for it. But then again, you also got to put in the equation. You may not like to hear it, but was that dude really, did he have it coming? Well, he had it coming to get punched. Now, did he have it coming to get punched and that much inflicted pain, not just pain, but injury on him? No. I'm not saying, oh, well, that's what happens, man. You talk shit, you get your face broke. I'm not saying that. Although that is true in some areas, right? It is. But that's not how it should be, whatever. But if you're going to sit there and say, so they got into it, obviously, at the weigh-in. And there was a female that was in Shields camp, and she started to, they were talking shit. Both of them were talking shit, though, not just her, okay? And there was a couple times where, the guy who got hurt, right, he, the trainer, he put his hand near her face. I'm not saying that he looked like he was about to punch her, but he did make a move with your hands and your arm, basically putting up the no thanks, stop, get the F away from me. It was what he's like, get away from me. And he put his hands up with his palms out, kind of like the I don't want to hear it type shit that you see like in a meme on Twitter, right? But he did that a couple times, right? So they got broken up. They got separated. Someone within Clarissa Shields' team separated their team member or whatever, part of the entourage, whatever it is. And I say team because I'm not saying team like training team. That I don't know. It's just within the team, the unit, whatever. Don't make me bring up G-Unit. When I hear unit, I think anyway. So, and old boy who got hit and got stolen, I understand that, but he's not a 100% innocent victim. And while she was being talked to and contained and not talking shit, he was antagonizing. He was throwing gasoline on a fire. Obviously, it turned out to be that because he was saying, hey, if you're going to act like a man, you're a woman, but if you're going to act like a man, I'm going to hit you like a man. I'll smack the shit out of you. There's a variety of things that he says about the trainer at a boxing event at a weigh-in. You don't think he's ever gotten threatened that way and like, oh, we're going to do this to you, blah, blah, blah. It's shit talking. Some of it's real, some of it's fake, some of it's really real, right? Like this was. So to me, like I said, to clear the air, I know I'm going to get comments about this. I don't give a shit. Dude shouldn't have got badly damaged like that. And it's a really just strange, crazy situation that punch did that to him. We have no video of the punch, but everybody says he got stolen, right? But prior to him getting stolen, he kept talking shit. And if you talk shit to a female, whether she's talking shit to you or not, there might be some repercussions on that. There might be. And like I said, it goes to putting stuff out in the atmosphere. If you put some tough talk and threatening yourself out there, which, hey, if someone threatens you, you have the right to threaten them. I'm not sitting there saying this, this person that was talking shit to him is innocent, but he was saying some shit that he's ready to fight her, basically. I'll knock you out. So if people overhear that, there is a possibility that a family member might get mad. Now, there was that noise out there. I don't know if it's true or not. I've been moving. I haven't actually followed too much up on it beyond the original stuff. That her dad said to her brother, go get that dude, basically, quote unquote. Not quote, but you know what I'm saying. Not verbatim, but you know what I'm saying. So, and then he did it and supposedly got arrested, whatever. And I think he should get arrested, right? No doubt about it. He wasn't even talking to you. But then again, you can't act like this innocent bystander almost, because you were talking shit. And this is Flint, dude. This isn't just a run-of-the-mill place either. I'm not trying to stereotype anybody, but we know Flint is a rough area, dude. It's been that for years, unfortunately. It's sad, obviously with the water there, that's the issues I still can't believe that they haven't fixed that shit. But anyway, it is what it is. Should that, guy have gotten stolen? No. And they're going to get in trouble, and I hope they get in trouble for doing it. And I feel really bad that he got that hurt. Usually just a punch is a punch. You may get a little bruise. You may get a fat lip. It doesn't, you don't have to go into surgery for it. How many times have you seen people get hit in your life in the cafeteria, at the locker room? Now, I understand this is different. It's not like it was a professional fighter that hit her, though, too. You know what I mean? So it's a horrible, horrible thing that happened. But I'm just saying, you can't, just act like dude didn't have something potentially coming at him. You got to be ready, dude. If you're gonna behave that way and meet someone at their level, quote unquote, right? If you're gonna stoop to someone, oh, you're gonna talk shit to me? Okay, I'll come right back down to your level, like a teacher coming down to a middle schooler's level. It's trouble down there, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's trouble. You stoop to that low, well, then. I'm just saying that I saw so many people either say, well, that's what he gets. Well, hold on. I don't agree with that. I know that's what he gets for talking shit about a female. Well, that female wasn't just minding her business either. She wasn't just, sucking on a lollipop, walking her dog, and some dude just rolled up on her and was like, hey, what's up? No, that's not how it went. She antagonized it too, but she was separated. Both were separated, and he kept going too. So if you're going to keep going, you better, you sleep with one eye open. You better have eyes in the back of your head if you're going to openly talk shit in enemy territory. That is true. Does it make it right that he got hit? No. Let's get over this. Anyway, couple items that I'm going to get to. Definitely going to get to Portland 503. Was What's up, man? It's been a while. It's good to see you on. Couple things here. Well, Tyson Fury, ever since Tyson Fury signed that ESPN deal with Top Rank, tried to grow his brand, grow his exposure, his profile in the States to make that Wilder and Fury rematch a much bigger deal, right? Well, in the ring, at the box office, on ESPN Plus, not so much, right? It's good to go through the car wash, what they call, the radio and TV shows where you go, you do this interview, that interview. So, they've gained a little bit more exposure, but not nearly enough, and not enough, considering what you're paying them, but just not enough to all of a sudden now he's some guy that everybody knows. That's not true. That's not true. However, I think that this WWE performances, I think both on Raw and SmackDown, I think it was Raw, was it tonight or last night? I know some listeners will be like, you don't know, dude. But the other one was Friday. I think that was SmackDown. Because now Fox, has the WWE. So, or chunks of it anyway. So anyway, Fury was cocking off, pause, in the audience, and he wanted to talk that shit from the audience. Whereas tonight, was it tonight? It's Tuesday, right? I don't even know what day it is. Well, technically it's Wednesday, huh? Well, whereas tonight he got lifted up a little bit, thrown around, and yada, yada, yada. Either way, having that dude, Tyson Fury, on the WWE is crossing over. I think that peaked at was it 4.2 or 4.4? And if you look at a demo, as far as the demo, the age demographics and all that did really well too. So kudos to Tyson Fury to get on there. I literally think that has a bigger input in, build to his profile for a potential casual or a potential people don't even know who the hell you are to tune in to his next fight, potentially, obviously. But kind of interesting anyway. Hey, I'll take the cross promotion. We'll basically take damn near anything in the way of cross promotion for boxing, right? Speaking of promotion, Dana White, who's been, telling us for quite a long time that him and the Zuffa Boxing, the Fertitta brothers, the whole nine, they're going to all get together and they're going to get into boxing. And it's just a matter of how much. Are they going to dip a toe? Are they going to put the foot in? Or are they going to just dive in and just jump in? It sounds like they're going to kind of inch their way in. The way Dana White spoke, it sounds like once he mentioned, of course they have the UFC Fight Pass, right? So they can start streaming fights on there. And I do think you will reach potentially some new interest on that level. Now, I say potential because, I've said it like 8 times in the last couple of minutes, huh? But I say it because, I'm assuming most people that have UFC Fight Pass are pretty hardcore MMA and obviously UFC people, right? Obviously. So there is a good chance that some of those people already have an opinion on boxing, whether they like it or not or whatever. But I think that could help just very minorly, not really that much of intent. But he also talked about a TV deal. And he mentioned how once he started doing interviews, this is over 2 years ago, with the Mayweather and McGregor, circus. But he would do press conferences, as he tends to do a lot of them throughout the year, and he spoke that he has interest in getting to boxing, and so he said, he went around and talked to everybody except Bob Arum and Oscar De La Hoya, but he says he has, a great relationship with Al Heyman, and he says, I'm definitely going to do some business with Al Heyman, and obviously if you're getting into it, you can't, it's right there. You know what I mean? If you're not going to do business with Golden and Top Rank, you better be doing business with Al Heyman at that point. Now, he did also say that he liked Eddie Hearn and that he probably would be doing some business with him. This is from Sirius XM boxing show with the commission Cooney. This is Dana White talking a little bit about this subject as far as things, and he says, "I've hired a mystery man. Now we'll see who that mystery man will do business with." Okay, so this is him right here.
Zuffa Boxing. Is it going to be on Fight Pass? What are we going to be watching it on?
I think that we'll have you'll be watching it on Fight Pass, and we'll have a television deal too.
Are you really considering about acquiring the PBC?
Listen, I have a really good relationship with Al Heyman. I think Al Heyman's brilliant, and I like some of the moves that he's made and some of the things that he's done. I can guarantee you that I'll be working with Al Heyman.
You've said that you have a good relationship with him. What about Eddie Hearn?
Well, you know what? I came out and said early on, I said some things about Anthony Joshua that I liked him. He's a good-looking kid. He's got great energy. Loved his fight. With the Klitschko, I wasn't a big fan of the Klitschko brothers. Those guys would put you to sleep,
Right.
By the second round. So when I saw that fight, I thought that was a great fight. I think Eddie Hearn took me the wrong way, like I was going to take a run at his guy and all that stuff. So I think we kind of got off on the wrong foot. Then I met him, we sat down, talked face to face, and we had a great meeting. He actually toured the facilities out here, and I like Eddie Hearn. So I definitely think that Eddie Hearn and I could work together.
So, Dina, as far as Zuffa Boxing, have you talked to any networks?
You know what's funny? I didn't have to talk to any networks. When I said that I was looking to get into the boxing, the network started calling me.
And there you go. And I never completed that for that exact reason, that thought I was talking about. That they're, Now, when they came to him, what are we talking about? Is that NBC? Because we did. I remember Jake Donovan. I remember him saying that NBC is going to be in the mix of boxing. Now, to what extent? I'm not saying that, but could it be NBC? Could it be the existing Fox deal? I'm hearing very vague rumors, and these are like super duper vague right now, that the deal is done, potentially, basically all but done. The T's got to get crossed, and the I's got to get dotted. But the PBC, that whole thing, the deal's done, and so they'd have Fox, but then they want to put the other part of the PBC someplace else rather than Showtime. And so I'm hearing just barely like murmurs about, and really most of it's online. I shouldn't even say I'm hearing it. I'm seeing it. And barely. And the fact that Showtime, they at some point they got to release a schedule, right? And the rumor was, and it sounded not like a rumor, it sounded factual because you started hearing fights being made and all, but they kind of put one in the can. They put one where they make one, then they make another one, then they make another one, they try to release it, right? Not always easy to do, but without leaks and all that. But you start to get little minor leaks. Usually they put a fight on the schedule legit and announce it, and then they add that layer. So there is a rumor out there that PBC fighters won't be on Showtime next year. Now, to clarify, it's a rumor. I'm not saying it's a fact. And obviously, they have 2 years left on their deal, technically more than 2 years, because we're only October, right? So, but you'd think that after the Spence Porter and after the Golovkin weekend, that this would be the weekend, because if you look at what's coming this weekend, not much. And then boxing kind of goes, up, right? After that, it gets really busy. You got names like, Canelo, Wilder, like it's popping off, basically. So if you're going to announce some fights, this would be the week to announce a nice, schedule. and I heard that it's going to be in the January maybe, and maybe it'll be like kind of their fall release like they did, where they set up January and February too. I don't know, but you got to figure, if they're gonna do a card in December, they do have to start announcing it so they can get that 8 weeks to sell the tickets too, right? So we'll see. We'll see. I'm just kind of throwing stuff up on the wall too and see what sticks because Dana White can be very vague at times. So is he just I really don't know. I'm just kind of throwing it out there of what I've seen or heard like I normally do. Let's stay in the promotional category. Oscar De La Hoya recently got sued by Tattoo, who is like a DJ slash, Golden Boy podcast. They tried to get that, or Golden Boy Radio. He basically just worked at their events as a hype guy, as the DJ. Well, hype guy. I'm not trying to shortchange the guy. I've been to several events where Tattoo was on the mic and all that, of course. But he is claiming, alleged, obviously, this is all alleged. It's a lawsuit, so it's allegedly. But he's claiming some serious foul play from Oscar De La Hoya. Go figure on that. We know he's full of foul play. And I'm not trying to just rip on Oscar anyway. I've had my share of foul play as well. But we'll see where this goes. We'll see if there's a settlement. I have no clue. Obviously, it's alleged. But the way he described some things in the lawsuit, as far as activities he was asked to do or quote-unquote forced to do to keep your job, this is alleged. So I don't know for a fact, but I don't know. I'm not saying I believe it or not, but I don't not believe it. I loved how I just said that. I don't. It's not that I don't believe it. I don't know what to think, but I'm not ruling it out that Oscar would be capable of this. That's for sure, based off prior information that is public. Let's put it that way. I cleaned that up, didn't I? All right. Speaking of cleaning it up, actually, it's not clean. TMZ, Terrence Crawford TMZ, or should I say Terrence TMZ Crawford. I like how he's going to TMZ to talk his shit. Take your panties off, Spence, and sign the contract. Take your panties off is a really funny line, and I'm glad he's showing his personality finally. The sign the contract's a little goofy because there is no fucking contract to sign. You guys haven't once made an actual offer to him. But yeah, anyway, Crawford's going to have to do what he's going to have to do. If you're going to go to TMZ and talk this shit, hey, go for it, man. I love it. But don't, you got to go to the fight and yell, take your panties off. Pause. Right? You got to be ringside 2 weeks ago or 2 weekends ago talking that when Danny goes in the ring, make the fucking shit focus on you. That's what you got to do as well. And then you got to talk Bob into taking a 60-40 or something like that too, because that's really, I think, what's holding it up as well. Anyway, hey, I like the Crawford's angle though. Speaking of angle, and I'm not talking about those angles like your female. I'm not talking about Drake, okay? I'm talking about Sonny Liston. Remember the angle? They couldn't capture the angle of the Ali Phantom Punch, even though this shit was just brilliantly landed. And we see it nowadays. But anyway, the lives and deaths of Sonny Liston. It's going to be on Showtime. Right now, Showtime has better documentaries than they do boxing. Am I right? Of course I'm right, because it's a fact. The lives and deaths of Sonny Liston, Showtime, like I mentioned, I think it's in November. I want to say November 15th. Don't quote me on that. I think it's November. Then we have Spong. Is it Spong? Spong? Tyson Fury. Alexander Usyk's former opponent now, he popped on an adverse finding in his VADA testing. So they brought in a jazz musician, Chaz Witherspoon. I always love that fucking name. I don't know what Chaz has. Chaz been playing the saxophone lately? I love that name, Chaz Witherspoon. It just makes it sound like a nice, like not well lit bar, hole in the wall, smoke in the air, puffing on cigars, drinking whiskey, listening to some Chaz Witherspoon. No, it doesn't that sound like it? Anyway, he probably shouldn't be fighting, but he's fighting Usyk. When is Chaz's last fight? Maybe he's fought. Maybe he stayed busy. I don't know. I just haven't seen him in a while. But that's the fill-in opponent, Chaz Witherspoon. So, yeah. I wasn't excited about the Usyk thing at all. Or not the Usyk thing. The Usyk fight. You know, I mean, you went to middleweight. It is what it is. Or middleweight. It's late. Sorry, guys. He went to heavyweight, so obviously you got to test the weight out. It is what it is. This kickboxing fucking guy, though, like, come on, dude. That was a shitty opponent. But like I said, you're just testing the weight out. You know, he's just going to get his jazz hands on, and he'll knock this fucking guy out. But adverse findings. And also, in Heather Hardy's test sample, there's been, she claims there's an adverse finding as well, and she claims though that she, you know, told VADA about it. So she said, hey, like on the form, basically, hey, this is the shit I'm taking. She submitted it. Whether that's what the test comes out with, where they can say, hey, where's those pills you were taking, whatever it was, and we're going to test it and see if that's the same shit, and the levels, you know, measure out. We're going to find out. I'll tell you what, though, Amanda Soriano, she dragged her in the fucking ring, and she's dragging her outside the ring right now for this stuff. I don't blame her, though. But, you know, they you know, you can, we know that if it's a diuretic or if it's a blood pressure pills or whatever the hell it is, I'm not saying it's that stuff, but I'm just giving examples. You know, we've found that they can be used as masking agents. But we'll see. We'll see what this stuff comes out. I don't know. You know, Heather Hardy did come out and say, nah, dude, that's bullshit. Don't put my name out there like that. Basically, it's a lie, is the way she kind of says it. So, we'll see. We will see. She'll get a chance to prove whatever. And, you know, who knows? Who knows? But, well, here's what Amanda said on Twitter. This is October 7th. She says, wow, another adverse VADA testing finding today. Let the excuses start. At least this one gets flagged before the fight, not after. People have to understand that as a fighter, you are responsible for what you put in your body. Anything that's bad shouldn't be taken, period. Right? So, so she also went, this is 10 hours ago, Amanda Soriano. She said, or Serrano, sorry. I had her Italian all of a sudden. Seriano. Serrano, she just been informed that when you test positive, you face a fine in suspension if the fight happened. In a suspension, if it's before the fight happens. To set the record straight, I never have had this happen before and wish it hadn't happened after such a great fight. This killed it. And like I said, you know, we'll see. You know, Heather Hardy, I'm not trying to say she's guilty as charged, but We'll find out. Did she tell somebody while she was getting tested, like the tester, or did she put it on the, when you submit an application, you put it on the sheet. You much like that Luis Ortiz. The Luis Ortiz. He said, well, I've been prescribed blood pressure pills. Well, did you disclose it on the fucking document? No, I didn't. Well, that's your fault. Now she's claiming she disclosed it. Now, like I mentioned, did she disclose it to the tester that day, or did she originally, when they started out, put that on there? That I don't know. Once again, I've been moving, so I don't even know that detail. It might already be out there. I don't think it is just yet, though, factually. And then one more item of news, and then we're going to go out to a Portland 503. So Portland, you do you, man. Okay, you get into the area you got to get into. Maybe it's so late at night, you're good. You could go right now. Whatever you want to do, you just let me know when you're ready to go. But Julian J. Rock Williams, who pulled one of the bigger upsets of the year off earlier against this was in what, May? Was it May 11th or May 12th? Something like that. It was on Fox. One of the better fights of the year. Awesome fight, great fight, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, we know that Jarrett Hurd has decided, it sounds like, to go up to 160. He's got a new trainer, yada, yada, yada. He's looking for, Julian, he's looking for a new opponent. Arislani Lara's been thrown out there. A couple names have been thrown out there. Either way, on January 18th, he's going to get a home title defense. Hometown, Philadelphia. Julian J. Rock Williams is getting the hometown fight. So, this has kind of been, I talked about how it's the year of the Mexican fighter. It's also been the year of the hometown fighter, if you think about it. Now, some of those fights, a lot of them actually, weren't necessarily something to write home about, but some of them were, and some of them, Hurd was at home basically, and he got beat, right? So it wasn't all that. It wasn't all just one-sided stuff at home, but you got to love that, man. You got to love that. I always like to see a fighter get, so that's January 18th in Philly. That would be a week before the working date, September 25th, for Errol Spence's next fight. So would that be on Showtime, or would that be on FS1? Maybe that'll be the first big fight of the year for Fox and FS1. I don't know, but kind of interesting. Kind of interesting. And now, my guess is it's going to be just an okay opponent. And I say that because they are trying to they're trying to get it almost contractually damn close to as much as you can agreed on. They're trying to get that, a unification fight. So the winner of J-Rock, whoever he beats, it was going to be Hurd potentially if he beat him, obviously. And then, Charlo and Tony Harrison, the rematch there, right? So maybe they think, let's keep it in the PVC. We got J-Rock. Let's try to build his ass. Let's take him home. Go against a quality opponent. Because I really think that unless Michael Soro takes step-aside money, and he could, he's due a shot at Arislani Lara's fake-ass belt. So, and I don't mind Arislani Lara as a fighter. I was just saying it's a fake-ass belt because he beat Canelo's brother. But highlight fashion, I'll give that. But where was I? Oh, yeah. The reason why I think it's going to be I'm not saying a soft touch per se, but I don't think it's going to be Arislani Lara. Also, because now it's at home. His fight was supposed to be in the Barclays. Well, if he's not getting Arislani Lara or another big name, this is like a perfect hometown, get him a win. And they probably want to go out with a bang on Fox. And that was supposed to be December 14th. Now this makes me think that they're going to use the date that Fox is going to use the date they used last year for the Charlo brothers, which actually I think was December 22nd, if I remember correctly. But this will be December 21st this year because it's the 14th, 21st, right? It was just before Christmas. I remember that part. It did a pretty good rating, especially in the last hour. But the point there is ESPN is having a card that night, and they'll have a for their number, they'll have a big number because the Heisman Trophy is that night, the award ceremony for it. So they always pop on that number. They've done really well. It's the third year in a row. So I'm wondering if they want to move off that date. Say, you know what? God, it's going to be closer than it normally is because usually if it's an ESPN fight, in fact, here's an example, that J-Rock, Julian Williams versus Jared Hurd, that was on Fox, but those start at 8 Eastern. Well, ESPN that night, they went head-to-head, but the main event with Burchelt and Vargas, the rematch, that actually came on after the broadcast was already over. You could actually see from the peak numbers. So if it was that case, that's cool, but that's not the case. That's not the case. That actually starts a little bit earlier than some of these ESPN cards do. And so they may think, you know what, let's just go the next week. Maybe they're going to just put something else on Fox. Maybe, it was supposed to be at the Barclays, so maybe just Charlo and Harrison will lead the way in that one. Maybe it'll be a completely different fight. Who knows? Maybe it'll be Broner and Redcatch and Barclays. I'd be happy with that. That'd be a good fight, actually, on Fox. Who knows? But Showtime was rumored to have a December 21st date. And maybe that December 21st date, that's what I was wondering, maybe that just moved to the Fox date. I have no clue. I'm just throwing shit up on the wall. But yeah, anyway, all right. So we'll see. But I'm expecting a Showtime, some announcements for some fights. Unfortunately, Terrell Goucher got hurt. He's going to be out of that fight, but they got a good replacement. But we'll talk about that on another show. That'll be coming up. I'm going to go out to Portland and talk to my guy 503 and see what is on his mind. What's going on, Portland? How the hell are you, man? You doing all right up there in the northwest hemisphere of America anyway?
Hey, yo, what up? Hey, yo, what up, Chris? Yeah, bro, doing good. Here in the North Fresh area over here, man. You know how it is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, yeah, everything's good over here. It just got fucking cold, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's
right.
the seasons over here, man. So, but how you doing, Chris?
Yeah,
How's everything,
exactly, dude. I'm doing good, man. It's good to hear your voice. It's good to hear that Mexicano music as well. I was almost going to have to YouTube the shit and Google it just to hear it because I hadn't heard it in a while. But yeah, dude, it's been going up and down. Like, it's been going like, hey, it's 70. Hey, it's fucking cold as fucking raining. It's been going all over the place. In fact, this week alone, like today it was 70. It's supposed to be pretty nice tomorrow. And then by Saturday, it might snow for the first time. So, it's everywhere right now. Yeah, it can't make up its mind what the hell it's going to do. But, yeah, because it's going to be rain. The rain's coming in. Like tomorrow, high of 71, sunny. Looks perfect, right? Next day, high of 63. It's going to rain. Then high in the 40s rain, which that is always danger to turn into snow once you get into the 40s. Because you got to basically get into the 35-ish range for it to be snow that's going to stay somewhat. So Saturday and Sunday, one of those days, dude, if the temperature drops enough, it won't stay, but we may get some fucking snow, dude. So who knows?
Damn.
Who knows?
Damn, that's early, bro. Damn, we're not even looking at that until like maybe January, February-ish, or when it usually snows out here for us, and shit. So it's basically pretty much raining, but it's all good, you know what I mean? But yeah, bro,
Dude, we'll get snow in April. We'll get a fucking blizzard in April after being fucking 78 degrees like 6 days earlier. It's fucking nuts, dude.
yeah, hell yeah, bro. And but yeah, man, let's get into this boxing shit, man. A lot of news and shit has happened, and fights have happened. And let me hold on before, man. The weekend fight. Me, man. I side with Canelo. Mexico all day. I'm not one of those people that me, man. I'll talk shit about Triple G, but I'm not gonna watch his fights. I didn't watch his fights, especially this one, because I'm a Triple G hater, so I'm not gonna. It's all over, man. You know what I mean? It's like, to me, it seems like everybody's already agreeing that the third fight seems like it's not gonna happen anymore, or maybe if Triple G proves himself, gets Andrade, or maybe Charlo, but until then, we don't know. but everybody's saying it seems like what's his name? Derevyanchenko should have won, and I didn't see it, but I'll agree with them. You know what I mean? Because I did get to see the highlights and shit, and I don't know, it was a good fight. It was a good fight.
I agree. That's awesome.
Yeah, but hey, also, bro, you know what I mean? I got to see that little left hook to the body there, man, and fucking that ref dude, man. That what's that dude's name, man? That dude should be investigated, man. That
I'm so glad you brought that. I totally forgot about that. It's late as fuck. I just lost it or something. But dude, there was a moment there where you're like, whoa, what'd you break that up for, dude? There was nothing to break, dude, besides Golovkin's rib. That's what the fuck broke.
Yeah.
You're breaking up the fight. Meanwhile, old boy's ribs broke. Like, I couldn't. That was crazy, dude. I fucking hate when refs do that, where you're like, whoa. What'd you even stop it for? And that's Harvey Dock. People love that dude.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because he's always, he's I remember correctly, he stopped a few fights and been involved in some big fights where there's problems have happened. So he's a respected referee. You know what I mean? I wouldn't think he would do this kind of shit, but I mean, if anything, dude, that looks like it was some help, man. I mean, that's my honest opinion, man. So, but yeah, he's in my opinion, he should be investigated after that, and you know what I mean, like when commissions, if they're always investigating, people with PEDs and shit for fighters, like, man, like get these fucking refs and judges under the fucking scope too, man. Like get them under being questioned, like if they've just taken steroids, you know what I mean. And fucking all, you know what I mean, when they do that whole court thing, it's like they kind of should go up against some some judges, you know what I mean. So but yeah, man, as far as that, I do believe Triple G lost. I didn't have to watch it to believe it, so. But as far as Triple G, man, that motherfucker, this is he got the win, whatever, he got the win, so he's in the win column still. So yeah, if he wants this, third fight, he needs to start proving himself, like I said. And there's Charlo, there's there's Andrade. I say go through Andrade. You guys being on the zone together. I say make that happen sometime early next year. You know what I mean? So yeah, and but yeah, man. As far as in this, but as far as Derevyanchenko, I wouldn't mind a rematch for him. Kind of seems like he does deserve one. So hopefully that happens for him. And also too, man, let's go to Showbox that happened. I got to see the Ennis fight. That was pretty good. It was an all right scrap. He was fighting that Argentinian. Once I found out, because I was like, man, what Spanish is he, man? Because that's one thing, like what we do at my house. Like we're always like when we set these fights on, like, wait, okay, when we don't know these guys, you know what I mean? Yeah, like when we don't know, like, bro, like when Ennis, we saw Ennis and I knew Ennis was fighting, right? But I thought he was gonna be the co-main, and we're like, we saw this dude's name, we're like, oh, what Spanish is he? Oh, they say Argentinian. I was like, okay, he's from the gutter. You know, he should be able to pull at least, gives a little bit of trouble. But man, I don't know, man. I think
Right.
he felt he came a long way to quit. I think you should have, fuck your eye, man. You have to fight, dude. You have to impress these people. Even if you don't win, impress us to have you come back and talk about you and say, oh, he gave Edis a hell of a fight, and I think they should bring him back even up as an opponent against another good opponent out there. And so, but you quitting like that, man. I don't know. It's kind of, you know what I mean? It's at least it was Argentinian in my honest opinion and shit. So. It wasn't it wasn't what it was. And but also too, man, Clarissa Shields, bro, hey man, what's going on, dude? Like this girl, dude. See, this is I'm not surprised by this, man. All this the actions that happened at the weigh-ins, like I'm not surprised, man. You know what I mean? She condoned. I mean, in all honesty, she condoned that Ugatsuki, uncle left hook, saying good job, Unk, and then this happening at her weigh-ins, and then finding out that it's her sister, it's her sister, right? That was put that old man down, and like I'm not surprised by it, man. It's like, but it's kind of like it's kind of like, come on, man, it's boxing, man. This is such a black eye for boxing, and for her too, man. It's like she already has that stain as, in my honest opinion, like kind of ghetto fabulous, ghetto hood shit, like. I see her as that, and this didn't, change my mind, man. I would like to see her being more like this shouldn't be happening. In all honesty, man, this is boxing, dude. Like, there's the time to settle everything is in the fucking ring, man. Like that bullshit, the antics. There's trash talking, right? There's always trash talking, but come on, man. Like just. Come on, no hands need to be thrown, man. Come on, the fighter's gonna fight. This will be settled in the fucking ring, and that, I mean, because come on, dude, these girls.
Let me ask you something, because I understand what you're saying, and now she hasn't went out there and punched people though. So let's clarify that. She may have said good job on. She may have had a heartless response to it originally on this one and then cleaned it up. But she's not out there punching anybody. Let's clear that up first. She
seems to be
doing
very respectful.
Well, either way, because I don't think her first response was good either. You know what I mean? However, you did see the video of the guy saying some things, though, right? You did see that part? Did you see that part at all?
Yeah, yeah, I did, man. I did. Taunting to her sister,
if you say, I'm going to fucking treat you like a man, you're not a fucking man, bitch. I'll knock you the fuck out. If you say that out loud over and over again, I mean, he did throw gasoline on the fire, though, you have to admit, a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit, right? Because remember, she got contained, he got contained, and then she was a ways from him, and he kept antagonizing it, though, too. Now, I'm not saying he's responsible. Usually when you get punched in the face, your fucking shit doesn't break like that, obviously, right? But I'm not saying he deserved it, but it's kind of like, when you get in a car accident, in some states, you're responsible for it a little bit because you're on the road. That's how it is in Minnesota. You do actually bear some responsibility because of that. I forgot what the fucking law's called. But anyway, I'm not saying he had it coming, but he wasn't an innocent bystander. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I understand, man. It's just, I don't know. This is what happened, man. I mean, the guy is old school. He's gonna talk his mind. Obviously, this guy's not from the PG era. He's not from this, Me Too era. So you know what I mean. This dude's gonna freely talk, and plus he's, from, it seems like he's really about it, man. Like he grew up tough, and you know what I mean. So and plus it seemed to be a little, I don't know what really was said at the weigh-ins, because it seemed like there was a scuffle, and then him putting his face in front of the girl, right, saying, I believe, what was he saying? Like something like, was he saying 5 pounds to her or something, or like something about the weight or some shit?
To me, it looked like he was saying, get the fuck away. It sounded like he was just saying, get the fuck away from me. Like, I need some space.
Okay.
But he was putting his hand up near enough, and I know enough people. I'm not saying I'm from some kind of rough area where there was gangs and all that. I'm not saying I am. But I know people that know people that know people. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you don't put your fucking hand up in anybody's face because once the
No.
second any kind of hand raising happens, it's on.
Yeah, definitely, dude. Yeah, man, and that was on, man. But I'm happy. You know what I'm happy about that? That was it. It's like no, the camps didn't go at it like at certain other places. Other certain fights that would may
That's
happen.
true.
You know what I mean? So it was kind of like he got hit. Nah, so it was kind of like it seemed kind of personal to. I mean, because it's reported that it was her sister, right? That did the hit and hit and run.
Was it her sister or brother? Because her sister was in the argument with the dude. I don't know if that's his sister. It was a female that was in an argument with the dude right away. But I had heard, because I've been moving this week, the last couple of days, so I haven't actually gotten all the way back into the story. But I had heard that it was her brother that did it. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But I know it was a female that he was obviously talking to originally. Now, if she went and stole on him, I'm not sure. I thought it was the brother that stole on him, but like I said, I'm claiming ignorance at this point.
Yeah, it's just sad, and also too, man, it's a sad situation because actually I heard some news today that the guy had to go back into immediate back to the hospital because he had some brain bleeding. So. James Ali Bashir. Everybody seems to be kind of having sympathy for this guy right now because it's even Teddy Atlas gave a message to him on a Twitter showing love and prayers to him because I guess I mean he's an old man, dude. He's like what is he? I heard he was 71, man. I mean, dude, come on, bro. Like you don't punch a 71-year-old, man. That's terrible, man. That's that's somebody's grandfather. That's just terrible, man. That's kind of heartbreaking in all honesty, man. I mean, the guy, he could talk his shit. He's an old man. I mean, how many times have you been? I've been to so many places where the old people are just talking shit to you, man. The racist shit or even, talking shit, like you're at a bar, they're talking shit about your music. Like, come on, bro. Like, dude, I've been there. I'm not going to throw hands at them. And even
saying you're going to punch a chick is different than saying something about my music. I'll say that. I hear you. I hear you.
That's true.
I mean, who's going to get whoever hit him is going to get in trouble, rightfully so. There's no way.
Yeah.
If it would have just been a punch and a normal punch where the shit didn't go down like that, I don't think it would have been a big deal. But the fact that he sustained that much damage is the scary part, and that's really what turns it into like, well, hold on, because we've seen punches thrown plenty. It's just they usually don't land with that much fucking injury. Yeah, it's crazy, man. Really fucking nuts.
Yeah, definitely too. And in all honesty too, man, like how do you see Clarissa Shields moving forward from this? Because this is a kind of a hard look for even Showtime, man, because this was on Showtime. This is on Saturday night too. This wasn't regular show box, they weren't reporting it as that. I believe they were reporting it as championship boxing, right? So even though they had the Showbox commentary team, it was it felt like Showbox, but I believe it was a Showtime championship boxing because of Clarissa Shields bringing all those belts in. But how do you see her moving forward after this? Because it kind of this gives a stain to her, and I would say, in my honest opinion, people are going to be definitely tuning in after this. I think this is, good, bad publicity is still good publicity, and especially in her community, like, because it seems like, she's in, the rap, urban, hip hop, so it's kind of, this is all gossip and I mean, they eat it all up, man. This is kind of a, this is not bad publicity for her. So I believe there'll be more eyes in her next fight, and that's my opinion.
I don't think that's just I think America eats that up. I don't think it's just the hip hop generation, or I think everybody, or not everybody, but our society eats this shit up over and over again. This type of over the top shit, crazy shit. It's not just our urban community that eats this up. I mean, you could tell in the pay-per-views. Floyd talked a bunch of shit, and it wasn't just, urban stopping people buying his stuff. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But what it does, I hate to say it. Well, first of all, online she already had a negative connotation because of a couple things, but also that the comment after the cheap shot by her uncle, right? So that it was already out there. People already don't like her. But honestly, I hate to say it, but who really knew about this though? Like out there in the boxing world, or I mean outside the boxing world, you see a bunch of chatter about this by super casuals or non-boxing fans. I personally didn't. So as far as people saying, "Oh, she'll never be this, never be that," it's tough enough for her to become some sort of name. It's crazy that a bunch of dudes who are super talented, who are on, FS1 or ESPN or DAZN, they can't sell tickets, some of them. So how the hell are we just supposed to expect that females are going to sell all these tickets, or she's going to turn into a great star? Just because she says it and other people say it doesn't mean it's going to happen. To be honest with you, I don't know. I just don't think that it's going to really cause that much of it caused a stir online, but how many people really care about it or heard about it? Not that many if you think about it. It really, I'm not saying it didn't go viral, but did it go viral on Twitter all the way? I didn't see that part. Now, I mean, off boxing Twitter anyway, I don't think it'll affect her that much, actually. I really don't. Maybe some sponsors. There may be some sponsors that she may not get now because they think, even though you didn't do it, Clarissa, it looks bad on you, and that's ultimately, what it is. I don't think she's 100% responsible for that, though. Because she didn't throw hands. She didn't go tell her to throw hands. That's true. It's just a really, really bad look, horrible look, and her first video blog statement was ridiculous. You know what I mean? It wasn't. She should have been a little bit more, tuned in to what really was going on.
Yeah, definitely, and I mean, it's whatever. I'm definitely staying tuned to her next fight and seeing what's next, and hopefully they could run this fight back. I've never, in all honesty, I didn't know nothing about her opponent. But I wanted to see it, and hopefully they can run it back, and hopefully make it again, and maybe this time get some fucking hire some like security guards, like fucking Lewis Tyson style,
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
I would say that that is one thing that I even forgot to mention. There is a security issue there too, because once it got close up like that, it should have been both those the people that were in that little argument, they should have been on opposite sides the whole time after that. You know what I mean? Not just one freely kind of walking around too, So security has a little bit to do with it. Like you said, we've seen this type of thing happen, but it usually doesn't happen in I really think it's just the amount of pain and the amount of injury that happened. I mean, how many times do people get hit in the face and nothing happens, dude? You know what I mean? You just get a little bumps and bruises, you get no big fucking deal, but I don't know, man. It was bad though. It's just it's just there's certain things that happen in boxing where you just kind of shake your head and be like, yeah, that's fucking boxing,
Yeah. Hey, and also too, man. On a lighter note, man, I wanted to.
That ever. You never see that though. Where it's like that. I mean, sure, we've had like ankle bite by Tyson. We've had some other things here and there. Larry Holmes jumping off a front of like a hood of a car, jumping on his opponent. We've had stuff, but this one was like, wow, dude, that's the trainer.
Yeah, the trainer, and that dude, that's crazy too. Like you said, the trainer that dude that got fucking got hit and went down, and it was a terrible thing, terrible situation and everything. So, but yeah, man, as far as I wanted to comment also, you're talking about Dana White and Zuffa Boxing, man, and he said some stuff saying he's not going to be involved with the sanctioning belts. Most likely is going to build his own stable of fighters and belts or whatever. But in all honesty too, man, he made a comment there. If anybody picked it up, man, he talked about how he liked Anthony Joshua and he saw the Klitschko fight, and he said how happy he was that he beat him because he thought that Klitschko was always boring, and he was always I think he said something, he always put you to sleep. This is something that fighters, I think in my opinion, fighters and boxers, in my opinion, before you sign on the dotted line with this motherfucker, you got to look at that interview or recent interviews on him talking about his fighters, because I've noticed that in the UFC with him, like if a fighter decides to kind of box it up or kind of play it safe or kind of just win on points, like in boxing, well we call it outboxing somebody, right? Whatever, a boring decision, whatever, it's a boxing fight, but like he doesn't like that. Like he doesn't like pointed fights. Like he wants you to bleed. He wants you to fucking throw head kicks. He wants you to just dogfight it out, man. So yeah. I'm curious how he's going to treat.
You could be like 16-0 in the UFC, and if you don't like your fighting style, you're gonna have to wait for a title shot
for a long time, dude. Until you get a knockout, until you look impressive, dude. Until until you get a highlight reel, then that's when he puts you in that fucking title shot, man. And because I've seen it, man. I used to back in the day, I used to follow a little bit more of the UFC, but I remember this one dude, John Fitch. Like this guy was really good and won a bunch of fights. Boring ass style, but he didn't get his just dues. And then, but by the time he did, it was too late. And I don't know, man. It's like, but so I'm in my honest opinion, man. I'm curious to see how he's going to treat these boxers. Like if they decide to, box somebody up for 12 rounds, 10 rounds, 8 rounds, because sometimes, this is boxing, man. This is a hit and not get hit, a chess match, whatever it is, man. There's not a lot of fights are all, dog fights. They don't all have to be, you know what I mean? So I'm curious to see how he's going to judge it for himself, because it seems like he's in his own world. And then plus he's talked about working with the PBC, working with Eddie Hearn. So I'm kind of curious to see what's that about too. Because most of those guys have belts, right? If he wants to, promote some of the bigger fights, most, sanctioned belts usually are on the line. So I'm curious to see what that's going to happen with the whole Zuffa Boxing and how that goes. And because it kind of seems like he's trying to make a bare knuckle fighting. In all honesty, like in my honest opinion, like it's gonna be hard for him to to really sell us. Us hardcore boxing fans, really, in my opinion. Obviously we'll stay tuned to whatever. But that's just my comment, my 2 cents on that. Because if you're a fighter and he throws some money at you, he might be you're gonna have to look into it. I don't know. So But yeah, man, and as far as that too, man, yeah, let me comment real quick on the last pay-per-view that happened. I didn't get to talk about I got to give credit to Anthony Durrell for doing his thing versus David Benavidez. I got to give Durrell credit for being in there and being in a real dogfight. So Benavidez put the work. He got the win, so that was dope. Also, Errol Spence Jr., also too, man, let me comment on that whole Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford there, man. I got to hear that TMZ video, and to me, whatever. It's funny to me just because, like, it's now he wants to talk and shit talk and instead of doing it on the Rogan, and I don't know, it's just I don't know, whatever. If they can make this fight happen.
He could have been there ringside at the fight.
Yeah. Yeah, he could have been. Did you know it was his birthday that night? Did you know that?
No, I didn't know it was that night. I thought it was prior to that.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
No, it was that night. So, it was that night. So I believe what's he could. I wonder, like, I don't think he's gonna want to spend his birthday, watching a Spence fight. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I believe that was his birthday. I really true. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that was his birthday that day. So it's I don't know, but But yeah, man, as far as that, if he's talking now, I like it. But in all honesty, if I could be frank, man, I believe Spence. I think that the tables have turned. I believe now Crawford definitely needs Spence. In all honesty, too, man, it's harsh for me to say, but in all honesty, too, man, I've been watching boxing for so long, and all these marinations and all these delays on fights or whatever. It's no big deal to me. I waited the Pacquiao fight, other fights to happen, and to me it's no big surprise if this doesn't happen. You know what I mean? And in all honesty, too, if it doesn't happen, and then Spence happens to move up in weight because he can't make that weight no more, it's okay with me. You know what I mean? It's whatever. There were so many times that this fight could have been made, and if in all honesty it doesn't get made, it's all right with me. You know what I mean? Because Spence has a pool of fighters that he could fight, man. I mean, he can move up in weight, 154 pounds, and challenge Julian Williams. So he's got, and then he's got the row of 47 pounders there. He's got the Ugas, he's got the Porter rematch, he's got Thurman, he's got Danny Garcia. You name it, man. He's got some good names, man. He could possibly fight Hurd. There's a lot of good fights out there for him, dude. And so in my honest opinion, he doesn't really, I'm okay with him if he doesn't fight him ever. You know what I mean? So because it seems like this shit has dragged for a while. And it's going to be a battle of who's the A side and battle of the pay-per-view sales. And Bob Arum, you know how stubborn that dude is and everything. So, it's whatever, man. And, but if they can make it early, it's cool. I ain't hating. You know what I mean? So I'd rather be, wrong. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is that I've been such a long boxing fan.
Right. I hear what you're saying because you're dealing with reality. You're not going to sit there and get mad over shit that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's kind of like, all right, dude, like, I hear you, but I'm not going to sit there and fucking cry over spilled milk, and then not cry on other shit. They let other fighters slide, but then they don't, but then they make a big deal about this or whatever. But I do like Crawford's angle because one thing about Spence is he listens to people. You notice that?
Yeah.
He listens. And
he
may act like
he's definitely listening, man.
Yeah, he listens, dude, because you could tell, man. I mean, just based off the Mikey Garcia fight, everybody thought he was just going to go in there and just try to beat him up, and he outboxed him. Most people thought he couldn't outbox him. He did that. Then most people thought, he ain't going to fight fucking, he ain't going to go to war with fucking Porter. He wouldn't fight that style. He'll just outbox him. Well, he fucking fought Porter style all the way through and through.
Yeah.
So he listens. He listens. And but I think it's smart from Terrence Crawford. I wish he was doing this 6 months ago, but I do like that. I also think he needs to try to say, fuck it, 60-40. I'll take the 40. That's fine. That's fine. I'll take the 40.
At this point. At this point, he has to. At this point, man, he's not getting any younger. I mean, Amir Khan, dude, his Amir Khan fucking numbers are trash. Even Bob Arum's on record saying they were trash. And, so, and plus, Spence is with such a great team. Like the PBC, it's going places. You know what I mean? And it seems like Top Rank, it's sad to say, man, a lot of their fighters are being, overshadowed by these PBC fighters, man. And I don't know, man. In all honesty, man, I'm liking what the PBC's telling me. And if they keep it in house, they got enough fighters for me to be entertained. Because they pretty much got all the Mexicans, and you know what I mean. I'm always watching them no matter who they are. And shout out to Molina, shout out to Josecito Lopez, man, holding it down that night on Spence Porter night. So
dude,
it's
the rebirth of Josecito, dude. That right hand was laser accuracy that night, dude.
Hell yeah. And not only that, too, with that win, I'd rather see Josecito with Spence, and I'm willing to pay pay-per-view because obviously Spence is pay-per-view now, man. Forget about it, you know what I mean? So he's not going back to fucking regular Fox or, Showtime. So, you know what I mean? If they do that pay-per-view, I'm cool with it, man. That's a Mexican. That's a big Mexican. And, coming off that Molina win, that's huge. And then coming off that Thurman, almost upset, but getting that left hook in him. So that's pretty good too, in my opinion. So I mean, he went the distance with Thurman, not getting KO'd. That's good with me, man. That's good with me. So if they can make that fight happen, that intrigues me more than Terrence Crawford. So Terrence Crawford, bro, let him just keep fighting who he's fighting. Let him fight all these, Ndungus and Amir Khan's, Kell Brook, that rumor, and I don't even know if he's fighting. I think he's got some fight lined up. No one cares, Let him just keep shooting his own foot, like it's just whatever, man. I'm PBC is fucking killing it, bro, and that, So it's like they got, I don't know, man. They're just the better, like, It seems like HBO left, but this is the new, man. This PBC shit is dope, man. Yeah. I love that they combine this shit with Fox, man. I love it. I love these PBC inside with PBC. I love all this shit. They got a lot of fighters, man. This is awesome. And then they got up and coming fights. The prelims are good. Like when they have prelims, like even though they're 6-rounders or 8-rounders, they're hella good. I mean they're dope, man. This is awesome. Like it's just I don't know what to say, man. I'm just psyched on that side, but still with the it sucks on the other side, man. You know what I mean? Like, but yeah, let Terrence keep talking. Panties. We want those panties off. Whatever, dude. You know what I mean? Let Spence keep winning. Let Spence keep collecting. That third belt with Pacquiao. And if that fight never happens, it never happens. Fuck it, man. Who cares? You know what I mean? But yeah, man, that's just my take, bro. I'm not. I've been watching this.
Yeah.
You want it to happen?
We want it to happen. Obviously, we
want
the fight to happen. And I was talking about it the week before, where it's like, all right, dude, if the next 3 to 4 fights have something to do with Pacquiao and Danny Garcia or a rematch with Porter, I would be cool with a rematch with Porter. Or like Ugas has a mandatory for WBC. Obviously, if you collect belts, someone's going to want to fight for it because the Mando's going to come up. So Ugas will probably be one of those guys. You can just go to Dallas with that. Of course Ugas would go there too because it'd be such a big opportunity, and then fight Crawford. So I lined up about 3 or 4 fights, right? And if he can get, if at the end of the day, in 18 months from now or whatever the fuck, right? If we can get to 18 months to 24 months, if we can get those 4 fights and Terrence is at the back end of it, but it happens, I'm okay with it. I'm actually okay with it if we get the fight. If it goes through and then he just never fights somebody, stays at 147, well, that's bullshit, obviously. But at some point, like you said, it's not as easy as a fight to make as everybody thinks, and they keep using that Wilder Fury blueprint because ESPN and Fox are doing a mutual thing, but it's totally different. It's 100% different. They already fought with having nothing to do with ESPN, so they already fought. And then they negotiated a rematch where they had contracts drawn up, and it was expected that both signed them. Well, obviously, Wilder was ready to go, but Tyson decided to sign with the ESPN. That's cool. So they already negotiated this fight. So that's totally different. It was already negotiated before Bob Arum even stepped in. And in fact, he's the one who delayed that fight, obviously. And because the proof is in the pudding, here we are. And, they're not fighting. Yeah. They're going to fight in February. But that's fine.
But it's so
funny. Like that. That's fine with me. That's okay. As long as you give me a goal and a date or something, we know that shit's happening sometime in February or March next year. Okay, I'm cool with that,
Yeah, definitely, man. Only if they would, but like that, that's a perfect example, dude. Like that delay, and like Bob delayed the fucking Wilder or the Tyson, dude. Like, and it's so funny, man, when you listen to these casuals or you see their posts or something, and they're just mad on the Spence side, saying Spence is ducking all. That's like, dude, no one's ducking. No one's ducking on each side. I'm not saying Terrence is ducking. I'm not saying Spence is ducking, because that's not true. These guys are hell of a fighters, and they're men, so they're not going to be scared of anybody. So But there's a business side, dude. You know what I mean? And people don't know about that. It's like they think, oh, just make the fight happen, or it can just happen. It's not that easy, dude. This is like fucking, this is some, millionaire shit. You know what I mean? This is like a lot of numbers. You know what I mean? So are on the line. So you know what I mean?
Not long ago, people forget, Portland. People forget. Not long ago, Bob Arum was saying that any fight having to do with his fighters got to be on ESPN. They got to be.
Yeah.
That's what he used to say. And he says, because we're in the big leagues now. We're in the big leagues now with ESPN. Well, meanwhile, the big leagues is actually Fox right now. So,
yeah, dude.
It's so
by a mile.
Now that the big league's bigger, now he's willing to go, oh, we can go 50-50, dude. Oh, so you're going to negotiate through the press a 50-50 deal before you negotiated it? Come on, we know that doesn't work, negotiating through the press. Now, you may be able to, I'm not saying Terrence isn't negotiating. He's calling him out. You know what I mean? That's different. Crawford needs to do that. And you were right, by the way. September 28th was his birthday.
It was,
so
right? Yeah,
I'm glad that you made that correction. I'm glad that you made that correction.
Yeah.
So I understand why he didn't go or whatever. But still, you could find some place in LA to party, couldn't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know, right?
Not that bad.
Buy the pay-per-view.
Go to LA, go to the fight for an hour. Just go for the Spence fight. You can just show up, boom, bang, boom, and get the fuck out of there. But I still need him ringside so he takes away. Because wouldn't that have been hilarious if they said Danny Garcia and everybody boos, and then Crawford stands up and be like, what about me? What about me? And next thing you know, the cameras are on him. It's on the big screen, and the crowd's going, yeah, what about him? You know what I mean? And it gets the ball rolling with Spence a little bit more because, like I said, he does listen and he reacts emotionally off listening. Look at how he reacted to Nestor Gibbs, Ness, from the Boxing Boys. I mean, that shit was crazy, dude. He won't even do it. I'm pretty sure they're still on he won't do an interview for them. I'm almost positive, And Ness has, been in and out of camps, and, he gives his opinion on a fight or whatever, or his prediction or whatever. And some of these fighters are just a little too sensitive. They can kick our ass, but they're obviously a little sensitive, or somebody in their camp is gassing them up to deliver the message to Spence in a biased way that makes it sound worse or whatever. So, I just think you gotta. I think if you wear down Spence enough, that he'll go to Al and say, "Make this fucking fight, Al." That's what I think he'll do.
Yeah, definitely, man. And hopefully, I'm saying, man, I'm not, it's I've been just watching boxing for too long for me to, to hang on to these kind of fights, man, because a bunch of shit can happen, man. And but yeah, man, it's but yeah, as far as that, Spence, Spence is the man, dude. You can't deny it, dude. You know what I mean? He's the man of the division. He's the man right now. I believe, I don't know what do you know what the pay-per-view numbers, were they pretty good? Were they solid?
Yeah, they were solid. We don't have a concrete number, but they were solid, that's for sure. What we are gonna get is the gate number here soon, though, because California, Nevada, other states, unlike New York City, do make that publicly accessible. So we will know what they did at the gate soon enough.
Cool, man. And also, too, let me comment real fast on, you're talking about Amanda Serrano. She, that whole head of the Heat Hardy. I believe she popped for something, right? And in all honesty, too, man, it just, she took a pretty good ass whooping. I would think that's, punishment enough. I mean, in my honest opinion, I didn't think she was going to win that fight, and that's just my honest opinion. I don't know, man. It didn't seem like she was on anything. It seemed, I don't know. Maybe I see this drug test almost as an error. In all honesty, maybe she was, taking the.
It could be.
I don't know, something.
It could be. What she claims is that she did disclose something she was prescribed or whatever. So, we'll see. There is we've seen these things turn every once in a while.
Yeah.
You know. Now,
Yeah, I
usually
mean,
it's
like,
for a
look at it this way.
like
Yeah.
Vargas and Canelo. You know, a lot of
Yeah.
times with that. But I do remember Bermain Stavern before the Povetkin fight.
Mhm.
Even though Povetkin ended up popping for it, he actually had an energy drink right in front of the tester and was like, "Hey, dude, I'm gonna drink this fucking shit, okay?" You know, like, so I'm gonna drink it. You see it, I'm drinking it, and that spiked and popped something in the test, and he was actually going to be cleared to go, I believe, for a second in that one, if I remember correctly. I think it was Stavern that did that. So we have, you know, every once in a while, you do get ones where you're like, well, you know, whether it's more likely it's like the levels of it. You know, how much
Yeah.
actually is in there. What are we talking about out here? Is it trace amounts or is it, you know what I mean? But there is micro dosing too, so it could be, you know, the alleged thing is that this is a banned substance. So, you know, period. And maybe some people will say, well, I took this, but something else was in it, and they didn't know that. Sometimes when this stuff gets made, the process of making it, the residue can, you know, be left behind on the machinery, and it can get into other stuff. Now that seems far-fetched. It's kind of true, but that's how you're, you know, if you're just, you really got to watch what the fuck you put in your system, basically. It's really, sometimes it can be a mistake, you know?
Yeah, like this one, I think this one is a mistake. I mean, I don't believe she's a cheater. It's just kind of, you know, it's whatever, you know what I mean? These girls, they just had a hell of a fight, you know what I mean? It's just, I don't, I just see it as an error in my honest opinion. I mean, because they're, you know, both women and, you know, that's just my honest opinion about that. But also, man, let me get into this real quick. I wanted to mention, you know, this, you know, we don't have that many fights this weekend, but hey, if you have Telemundo, then, you know, the new, not the new BN Sports, but, you know what I mean, holding it down for the Spanish, you know what I mean, for the Mexicans, you know what I mean, holding it down for the Spanish channels. You know what I mean? You know, this is like the Latino showbox, you know what I mean, if you want to put it in a way. And, you know, this is in Mexico City. Telemundo, Gannigan Lopez versus Armando Torres, 10 rounds, flyweights. I'm gonna stay tuned to this. You already know. Mexico all day, every day, man. You know, we represent Andrew Ruiz. We represent Canelo Alvarez.
David Benavidez,
you know what I mean?
dude? What about David, a.k.a. Tony Montana Benavidez, dude? He got a nice little win.
Bandera Roja, man. You already know, man. We supporting all of them. You know what I mean? And I'm waiting for Leo Santa Cruz to come back up, man. Where the hell is he? You know, where's he been this year? You know, seems maybe he's fighting.
They got him on a WBA special, dog. They got him on a WBA special because he's going up to 130.
Oh, is he?
Going up to 130.
Okay.
Yeah, he's fighting Miguel Flores, the dude who he was gonna fight, but that dude got hurt in the like in February, I think he fought. So he looked for the fight, couldn't find it for whatever reason, and now it's like, all right, well, now he hasn't fought since February. So then you kind of are like, well, do we get him out one more time and then get him ready for a big fight? That's what it looks like they're trying to do. But he's going to 130, and since he was a champ, you know, at 126, he gets to slide in and get that WBA special.
Cool, nice, man. You know what I mean, and that's also Heyman's side. I'll be tuning in. PBC. You know what I mean? That's another flag I'm repping right there, man. Because I'm happy. These fights have been dope, man. In all honesty, bro. And ESPN, you know, I mean, they're still holding it down, whatever. But you know, like I said before, man, PBC is holding it down for sure this year, man.
ESPN Plus has been holding it down, but ESPN hasn't been holding it down this year at all. They've had a really down year. Now they got some fight. I like their fall schedule. It's pretty good. Has a variety of type of fights. Obviously, you know, Volchtik and fucking Beterbiev is gonna be a fucking, you know, light heavyweight like Stravaganza. It's a good ass fight there. A lot of power in the ring. A lot of dudes that are coming to fucking. Dana White would like this fight. Let's put it this way. You know, these dudes are. I mean, they got skill and shit, you know, they got skill. They'll set up. You know, I'm not gonna say they're gonna set up counters and shit too much, but they're good fighters. They're very experienced, amateur and now pro to an extent anyway. But that Volchtik better be if they have a decent. I like the clothes, but yeah, ESPN Plus. That's where all the content is. DAZN's been like hit or miss. It's either really damn good or it goes kind of gappy. You know what I mean? But they're second.
Yeah.
Here's how it is, dude. This is straight up. They're second this year though, right now, because their clothes is disgusting. Their clothes is really good. Dude. They got Taylor and Prograis coming up. You know, they got the other stuff in the World Boxing Super Series, the cruiserweight, and obviously they got Canelo Kovalev, and they got fucking AJ Ruiz too, closing the year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a damn good schedule to close the year. But that's crazy. DAZN's already hopped over regular ESPN. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. But I mean, they got some hitters, man. I mean, yeah, they got the names right now. They got a few names, so yeah.
That's true.
Especially with the
they can sell tickets.
Yeah, definitely, man. And but you know, they got to get looked into, and after that performance with Triple G, you know that that referee Harvey Dock, you know, I mean, he needs to be investigated. So, you know what I mean, and so. My honest opinion, but yeah, man. But yo, Chris, let me get out of here, brother. It's kind of late. Got to get out of here, man. You know, it's time to eat. So, but yeah, man. You know, Chris, thank you for having me on, brother. You know, we always talking boxing, man. You always holding it down for boxing. Yeah, hell yeah, West Coast, brother. The North Fresh, brother. The North Fresh
tonight.
Hell
this
yeah,
is the
bro.
latest show.
Hell yeah, man. Holding it down late, bro. Holding it down late.
Dude, I've gotten up early and done a UK thing, like earlier than this, but I haven't done one this late at night, ever.
It's all good. Yeah, bro, it sounds like you're hella tired and, you know, all, you know, tired out. So, bro, I'm going to let you go. And, but viva Andy Ruiz, viva Canelo Alvarez, and viva Ropa Dope
Once you become the world champion, I believe that you feel you have
the fight.
the upper hand.
Back next week.
So now when you fight, let's say you fight for 5 years, the great survival, the bullshit, the whole bag, and when you become the world champion, you're like, you know what, I made it. Now I'm going to show you it's business. So I'm going to get every dollar worth of what I deserve. Why? Because I'm the world champion.